One of the most popular creators on this platform goes by the name WhistlinDiesel. He has, I believe, almost 14 million subscribers, and he's best known for his car durability tests and his kind of over-the-top crazy guy content. He built a killdozer and a couple other things that are pretty popular. But the reason I'm covering this video is, well, he was arrested. And it's not necessarily his arrest that I wanted to cover. It's that it has completely backfired. And it puts a huge exclamation point on the type of point that I've been trying to make for many, many years. This idea that governments really suck. All right? They do. And what they did was they arrested him as essentially a PR stunt. I mean, they put him in jail. Like, he really, he was really arrested. It's not fake. But they chose him to make a point. Rather than, it was far more about making a point than it was about the law. And it has already backfired because, well, you'll see. So if you haven't already heard, WhistlinDiesel was arrested for tax evasion over a Montana Ferrari purchase. Essentially, he had bought a Ferrari, and in his state, in Nashville, they want you to pay sales tax over and over again when you buy vehicles. They want you to re-register it and pay sales tax. Like, for example, we have sales tax in our state, but he registered in Montana, so he wouldn't have to pay, I don't know, $100,000 or whatever it is in sales tax. YouTube star WhistlinDiesel has broken down his recent tax evasion arrest in a new video, claiming that the case is about sales tax on a Ferrari that was registered in Montana and later destroyed. Now, understand that they, according to him, never sent him a letter, never did anything. They just sent 20 cops to his house to arrest him. Why? Because they wanted to scare people. Cody Detweiler insists that he has always paid his taxes and he received no notice before officers arrived at his house in Tennessee, which I completely believe. Detweiler was taken into custody in Williamson County on November 12th after a state indictment accused him and his company of evading sales tax on a 2020 Ferrari F8 Tributo, I don't really know, Tributo, and registering the car in Montana instead of his home state. Multiple outlets report he faces 2 felony charges and that the tax bill could be in the tens of thousands of dollars, with public records summarizing the alleged shortfall of $28,000. He was booked into Williamson County Jail and released the same day after posting bonds. In the video titled, "I Got Arrested for Tax Evasion," Detweiler walks his viewers through the arrest footage showing several officers walking down his driveway before placing him in handcuffs. He initially thought it was a prank until they produced paperwork for tax evasion and explained he had zero clue what the warrants were even referring to. Detweiler tells viewers that he had not received a letter, text, or email about the outstanding tax bill, and that he had only learned about it in the details of the case days later. Detweiler says his bond was set at $20,000 and criticizes viral posts that cited a $2 million figure without context. He recounts spending a few hours in jail before being released, describing being put in his own cell and joking that the conditions were not as bad as he expected. He also notes that some of the jail staff recognized him from his videos. According to Detweiler, the case is specifically about sales tax on a $400,000 Ferrari F8 that was titled to a Montana business that later burned to the ground in a Texas stunt video. Now, again, they could have sent Cody a letter. I am assuming he would have paid the sales tax on the car, but they didn't. They wanted to wait. They wanted to arrest him publicly and make a big deal about it to make everyone else afraid. So what's going to happen now? Well, Cody's just going to move to Montana. This is what the big tax the rich people, they don't understand. Okay, Tennessee, you're going to get your 28 grand out of Cody almost certainly. That's it now. You will never collect sales tax from him again, and he'll move to Montana where he doesn't have to pay that. So congratulations. This is one of the, I want to show a clip of his video, which perfectly describes the welfare state and ends up being a PSA against unjust taxation of our citizens and the give me free stuff problems with the economy. He says Tennessee's would have charged him around 30 grand in sales tax on the car, and argues that using a Montana entity to hold a vehicle is very common and a legal practice among luxury car owners. This is true. Detweiler claims that Tennessee authorities never even tried to contact him to request payment before seeking an indictment. He argues that a letter asking for sales tax would have been the simplest, fastest thing, and he says that they've always kept up with federal and state obligations through his accountant. But that's not what this was about. This was about making a statement to make everybody else who, purchases luxury vehicles and titles them on Montana, I am all for tax loopholes. The terminology tax loophole has like this negative connotation for no reason whatsoever. Like I pay you want to talk, how about property taxes? I pay $25,000 a year to the state of Wisconsin for the privilege of pretending I own the property I already paid for, right? So my property was hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you don't actually own anything. I have to pay the state $25,000 a year in sales tax for the privilege of pretending I own this property. If I stop paying that property tax, they take the property away. And by the way, I don't use the schools. I don't use anything that money goes for. The state of Wisconsin just steals money from me, which is why I wanted to move to Nashville. But now, I don't want to move to Nashville anymore. I'm going to look at Alaska again. I'm going to look at some of these other states. So, I'm not bluffing. I could show you emails. I have a realtor in Nashville that has been looking for property for me for the past year. I was dead serious about moving to Nashville for tax reasons. Well, about 30 minutes outside of Nashville. Nashville's already too expensive. Maybe 45 minutes outside of Nashville. I've been looking for property there. Anything over 80 acres, within 30 minutes of a major hospital, that's all I need. I've proven I can run my business on Starlink. I don't need high-speed internet. And what I don't need is to pay I pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a year into the system. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Obviously, that's a great privilege, apparently, I keep getting told. But I don't use anything the system provides. I hardly ever leave my house. Oh, the roads? I don't need roads. I got a truck. Let them deteriorate. How about all the people that my money goes to feed SNAP and foreign wars and all this stuff? Like, I'm sick of it. The criminal also suggests he is being targeted to send a message to other high-end car owners who use Montana registrations, saying he believes officials want to scare people into re-registering their vehicles in their home state and paying sales tax there. That is what this is about. He adds that he is in the process of buying property in Montana and plans to base his businesses there going forward. So it's backfired completely. And instead now, 3.5 million people get to see Cody talk about, not Cody, is it Corey or Cody? Sorry, dude. I only know you as WhistlinDiesel. Cody, say something like this.
I treat everyone with respect. The American people are the ones in charge here. So, yeah, they could have sent me a letter. No problem with paying the sales tax, guys. If you can find a legal way, that's the thing. Nobody wants to pay taxes. And I feel like if there is an amount of taxes that is fair to pay. I think this is a matter of making it very clear what is to be done in certain situations. If money is owed, you make it clear. You don't confuse the American public. You don't pick and pry for the slightest little outlier. You need to make it very clear in the code what can and cannot be done before you get tied up in
They don't want that. They want to be deliberately confusing. He knows this.
Legal problems and waste the Americans' time. I have been promising, of course, a Bugatti durability test. I know everybody wants to see that. And this has made me slightly question the methods that I would go about durability testing cars, considering that's my business. If I do a Bugatti durability test and that car is $3 million, I'm paying, I think it would be $400,000 in sales tax. A whole Ferrari of sales tax. That's not affordable. I can't afford that. I can barely afford the Bugatti. That's why I'm doing it. This is the pinnacle. It's a really cool thing to do. But I can't afford the sales tax on the Bugatti. So I'm happy to announce we are finding new ways to do this that will be much more affordable, that will not allow the state of Tennessee or other states to get the sales tax from it. This is not tax evasion. It's simply just not going to be my car. So it'll be something that the tax has already been paid on. I have to do things that way. I'm just going to borrow people's cars. So Totally legal. Not
Right.
tax evasion, not tax avoidance. It's just not getting taxed. I'm glad this happened before I went much further with my business because I spent a lot of money, frankly. They always talk
Exactly.
about taxing the rich. The
Here we go. This is the backfire right here.
people that have billions cannot be affected by what you're trying to do. There's other places in the world. Whatever, if you make America restricted for them, they just go somewhere else.
Right. This is companies recently moving out of California. Schwab, Oracle, Tesla, Chevron, McKesson.
Bring their influence somewhere else, to some island somewhere. What you're really affecting is the middle class and upper middle class and lower middle class, frankly, people who are hardworking in America, who are trying to make it by, who are abiding by the rules, who are going to pay the tax, who get taxed more and more and more, and they get taxed on their tax because some people want to live for free based off all the other people who work really hard and pay their tax. And then they get money from all the hardworking people and they vote tax the rich. And then that group of people gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until they influence everything. Now, hey, that's all fair until you realize that America can only run, there's only money if people work. And once that dream dies, it all falls apart. I see a lot of comments. Everybody's like, oh, Cody's rich, he can afford the tax. Well, sure. Yeah, I mean, I can afford one or two things. My problem is that they didn't try emailing me, texting me, saying what I owe or anything, saying, hey, you owe us this money. There was no attempt to do this amicably, which is the precise reason that I am now no longer going to do this amicably.
Good.
I'm surprised it was for that. I was actually very surprised it was for tax evasion. I was like, surely they would have found something like worthwhile. I thought it'd be something major, like they found a nuclear bomb in my garage or something. And then they were like, tax evasion. I was like, oh, thank God. I'll give you guys updates as I get them. Thank you for watching this. Thank you.
Hopefully people made it to the end of his video and really understood that point of why taxation is such a joke and why this tax the rich nonsense is so stupid that, you know, only somebody with a double-digit IQ could possibly think that's how it plays out. And you know what? Now I'm not going to move to Tennessee. I'll look into that. There are many other states that are much more friendly to people like me who are childless weirdos in their 40s who happen to have a successful business. And now Nashville and Tennessee are off my list. So, and I'm sure other people will too. The government using him as an example is lawfare. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. And I'm glad he's fighting it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.